All
Press.
Can you guys hear us now? Hello, can you hear us?
They might have to be invited to unmute.
We're sorry, everybody, for the technical difficulties. We don't know what's going on.
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Julia.
Mhm.
And Rick, Denise, can you guys hear us? Rick,
I can hear you now.
hi Denise, okay, thank you. I'm assuming everybody can hear us, we're recording again, sorry for the technical difficulties. I wanna blame Mercury, we can, I guess, and somebody to blame. Board needs to decide how we wanna move forward. I would hate for you guys, for CPCH to continue building and then have to take apart, 20 days, 30, however many days, in between now and the next meeting, let's say it's in 15 days, I think. And then we would have to, and then they would have to take apart what they've constructed.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big project, there's other areas that they can work on, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to keep going on a community center. And move over to a different area where another foundation might be right.
Yeah, and at this point, that's something I think their board has to just decide and do.
Yeah, I
After
think
this
that,
conversation.
based on the conversation that we've had today, that our next move would have to be to consult with our attorney to determine what the appropriate path is. And that while CPCH is doing a very noble and beautiful project for the community,
Absolutely.
they ought to understand that the prints that they submitted the second time did not align with the prints that they submitted the first time. And that it's likely their responsibility to correct that to a 20-foot setback for the sake of the neighborhood and their neighbors. And that sucks, but that's kind of what's up.
I think that Adam hit the nail on the head with that one. I did too.
So, should we direct our clerk to get in touch with Seth Walker?
I would wanna add one thing, I think, I'm gonna phrase this correctly. I'll kind of piggyback on what Adam just said, is, CPCH at this point, if you can give us some idea of what you might have to rectify the situation.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
And then we could go with second.
Do you guys hear that?
I heard that. We're not in any position to do that now. We would need to consult with our attorneys as well. I think we understand the implications of having to move anything, change anything. So I believe you can rest assured we're not going to proceed with that foundation at present. I'm only speaking for myself here, but we have other foundations well within setback that we can attend to.
Correct.
I understand the town's concern. I understand their position. Again, I cannot adjudicate. So I think I think they're, we might have to go back to our surveyor and I think it's very important to perhaps re-verify that line, at least on our part, so we know where we are, and then get legal advice about what our position is. As regards, being forced to move that. It's very expensive and we don't have it in our budget, and that we can't just break the terms that we have to supply affordable housing. Like, those rents are all means tested off of AMI over at the county. And so if there's extra funds that need, to be used in the future, those have to be found and so forth. So in any case, I hear what you're saying. We will take it under consideration. I don't believe it's in our building plan to proceed further with that foundation at present, but I think we understand the implication of doing so.
And Rick, did you hear, when on the building permit, what it states, did you cut off when I was reading that? How far?
No, I
did
heard it. I heard
Okay.
it again. I mean, the way I see it, as I see it, and then listen, there's communications that are going alongside these applications. It's not just cut and dry, here's the application. I see a PUD application with certain information that speaks to future final plans, and you know, that all, I cannot adjudicate all of that, and I'm not gonna sit here and yell at you guys and say, you guys have to let us proceed because you stamped this permit. I do not know
Mhm.
the law of it all. And that's why we would use legal counsel.
Okay,
Um,
all right, I think we can, direct our clerk to use all the information that she's gathered from this meeting to pass over to Seth, consolidate it, into some kind of, basic communication to our attorney. You guys will use the same information and go to your attorney, and I guess we will discuss this at our next regular meeting. That's the only, unless we're gonna do a work session in between or
we
a
also,
special meeting in between.
I hear what Dennis is saying about how, the town engineer might approach the survey. Could we direct our clerk to at least reach out to them? To reach out to the town engineer and just make an inquiry about what it might look like to get the survey, and then we can determine if it's worth.
And we literally just went from the charter school to the
Right,
southeast corner of town.
if that's possible for the engineer to do, then maybe we can make that happen.
Yeah.
So we'll just direct
And-
our, is that what you understand? Yeah.
And to reiterate what Dennis also said to CPCH is that I don't think anybody wants to go through attorneys to resolve the issue. So if you guys could talk amongst yourselves and come back with some possible solutions, that could be really great.
I don't, like you said, I don't think anyone wants to see attorneys have to come into this. I don't think anyone wants to see the project not move forward and flourish. I think everybody is supportive of the project. And maybe there are creative solutions as we get more information to, mediate relationships with neighbors.
Yeah, I'm obviously that's open-ended, and we certainly come from the same spirit, my personal position, and again, I don't have directive to speak for the board, off the cuff. But my personal perspective is that, we will persevere here on our end legally doing what, and I don't mean that like using legal enforcement. I mean, by conforming to the town, the town code and the laws and the applications and the permits. I don't know what all that means right now, but I know that we at CPCH, we are not, no one of us is benefiting individually from this project, and we are here to realize it for the benefit of the community. And it's a lot of, frankly, folks that aren't even here anymore that had the original goals of aging in place here in Crestone. So anyway, all to say that I appreciate that the town has that spirit, and we have that spirit now. I think there are questions to be answered, and we will work to get those answers, and we will work to work with you so that you can get answers you need. And Akia will be the conduit. It's too bad she's not on the call. But yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rick.
CPCH, appreciate you guys coming on.
We'll
I'm
get it.
sorry that we're in this, it's just, there's some technicalities with variances and various things like that are really important to uphold, otherwise it sets a precedent that we really do not want to set.
I understand, and of course that sits out there on the side as a possible solution, but it all depends on really where the line is, where we are with our buildings, and what the law says and all of that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Okay, let's move on.
All right.
We're gonna go back to reports. We have no presentation of bills this moment because they come out at regular meeting. Treasurer's report is regular meeting, correct? Finance committee report. Is there anything?
No, we're probably, I think we scheduled something for this Wednesday. I can't remember, we got pushed back, but I think our next meeting is to sit down and look at the supplemented numbers inserted into a budget so that we can review it before we present it to y'all, which would likely be at the next meeting.
Cool.
Thanks,
One other thing.
Yes.
I did spend some time with Kim this morning. She showed me everything on her computer. I did sign off on, through some of the bills. However, it still comes up and it's not been resolved yet. Are the bill for that location, bill, I've got the phone number and the order number and all that. I'm gonna give them a call personally myself and see if I can get through and find out who ordered what, when and where it happened.
Are they billing us multiple times? Are they continuing to bill us?
They keep billing us, yeah. There's no charge, additional charge being put on it or anything like that, but we still keep getting the same bill.
And it's a pretty expensive bill.
This one was not, but they don't.
Differentiate between.
Yeah, they don't give me any location, who ordered it, what it was for.
We shouldn't even be paying for town citizens calling.
Well, that's my concern is that unless Public Works ordered a locate. If it came, then that's fine, but if it came from a citizen, then of course that's not fine.
I'm sorry, what's the location?
It's 811.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Locate the lines.
And also the correction to something I had said, I know we don't have the minutes from that meeting, but Adam had asked me, what the estimated costs were for the BOPs that we were paying for, with the treatment, and I gave him the wrong answer. It was substantially higher than what I had said. It's no less than about 11 or 1200 bucks a month. So it's important to get that under control.
And I don't think, looking at our emails, we haven't scheduled a final review, so I'll try to send out an email today.
And it looks to me like it's ready to go.
All right.
Okay. So my report is, I would like to move quicker and more forward on looking for an accountant. I don't know if anybody has any connections to any accountants. We have in our policy that we can hire professionals and not have to go out for bid, even though we did go out for bid. But we can have somebody, if they're a professional, we're able to do that for that particular item because it's more difficult to find professionals who are already working, they're not looking for jobs. So it's the opposite of kind of people who are out looking. So I would like to try to find an accountant to come in and use our RFP as a outline for that. It had to do with budgeting. It had to do, let's see, I have the RFP. I thought it was really good, by the way, and I know your clerk's report's gonna those.
Yeah, I will.
Of course, I don't wanna step on the toes of our treasurer, however, I think there's there's a wider range of financial oversight that has to happen that could catch us up and get the treasurer in a better position in the long run.
Are you thinking of like hiring someone part-time or full-time or just for a period of time?
My thought was that we would hire somebody to come in and review 21, 22, 23, and 24. And try to get everything back into order in a way that satisfies not only us, but the wider community as well, because it's still a problem, you know, we're still not able to show, like, our balance sheets are not accurate, our,
So, like,
profit and loss,
the forensic accounting sort
a
of.
little more of a forensic oversight. That would be my recommendation to this person, but there is a RFP that talks about budgeting as well. Whoever this particular person is, he or she might be able to, or they, might be able to help us with that, as well. Because we have some deadlines that are coming up that we gotta start getting on, and if things are holding back our treasurer from doing things that need to be done, then we need more help. We need not only more help, but we need somebody to come in and kind of refresh our books, I would say.
So has anyone pursued direct communication with any accountants?
I would be willing to talk to Wall Smith and Bateman, who had made a recommendation for our audit, and that's the other thing, is our audit. I don't know exactly where we are with that, and I wanna make sure that our auditor is getting everything that he needs in order to be able to do his work. Cause we don't, our audit is due I mean, it's actually overdue now, and we weren't able to get an extension, so we're now struggling with that.
Right. I don't know if anyone knows Nadia.
Is she a CPA?
She's not a CPA, but she is an
Yeah.
accountant.
No,
CPA.
I mean, I use Walkie and Associates out of Salida for my business and personal. And they've got decades in the business. I mean, I think we're to the point where we need to like look up CPAs and start calling them.
Right, I agree. So I wanna move forward on that, if you don't mind doing that for the next regular meeting. Hopefully we can have a couple options.
All right,
And call for recommendations. If you use somebody, I was gonna call Wall Smith and Bateman for a recommendation on our, you know, they might have somebody that it's not associated with them, but that they know they would do a good job.
Okay.
So it is a little bit of a forensic, I wouldn't call it forensic audit, I would call it forensic accounting.
If you called, so if I called somebody, say, we need a forensic accounting service for our 21 to 24 town books.
I would say we need a comprehensive review of our last 4 years.
There you go.
Comprehensive review.
From a forensic perspective. A comprehensive review of our last 4 years. From a forensic perspective.
In the motion made at the last meeting, it also said that they needed to be government, have government experience. Do you still want that in the RFP, or should I?
I think we should probably ask the question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually think that governmental might be easier, because they don't have to deal with income tax. And various things, but it does have to deal with budgeting and. Other compliance issues, so they have to be familiar with the compliance issues of government accounting.
Okay,
So I'd hope that maybe we all could reach out a little bit and try to find somebody, and we can have somebody we can pick from.
Yeah,
next
we should stay in
meeting.
touch with each other if everyone's doing that, so we don't double down on something.
Yeah, so send it to the clerk.
and we've got about 20K for that allocated.
Okay, so
And are we saying that because we did put out the RFP, that we should be good on hiring somebody?
No, in our policy, it
For
specifically
professional
states that you can
services.
hire professional
Over
services.
5,000?
Yeah,
Okay, good enough for me.
yes, sir.
Has the auditor been hired?
Under a very informal agreement.
Have you had any response from him? Because I contacted him and had no response.
We haven't had a response, and we haven't received a letter of engagement.
So you know,
so
We haven't hired him.
should we be also looking for another auditor? If we haven't heard from.
I will, Yeah, and I will get a hold, I'll try again to
Okay.
get a hold, I'm assuming that he's putting us off because we were last on
Right,
his list as far as audits, and he already told us that the consequences are for not having the extension and all that.
okay.
That doesn't mean that we don't need to have it under, a set agreement.
Is there a level of certification we need for the auditor? Do they have to have government experience?
I got it.
I think auditors are. I'll reach out to the auditor that we have now and try to get a hold of him. What else?
Can a CPA do an audit?
I would say a CPA can do it, and the fact that the state auditor doesn't look at any of this stuff. Based on the past 4 years of filings from the town.
So from your perspective on this one particular question, if we have about 20K set aside for forensic audit and about 12 to 15K set aside for an auditor, could we pay a reputable CPA out of Salida $32,000 to do an audit and comprehensive review of the last 4 years? Do you see any reason those need to be separate entities?
The auditor might see that there's a difference.
Not if the auditors, though.
No, because I don't think your accountant can do your audit. So in other words, you've got somebody doing your paperwork. And then the person that's overseeing that you did over here needs to be independent.
So you would like to see those be two separate entities?
I hate it, I think that's the way they would like to see it, and it would be required.
Maybe when we are calling around to CPAs, they should
We can
have
ask.
clarity on that.
The other thing that was up was our CDs and whether we had a communication with the bank. Back from those two gentlemen from our last meeting.
I can't speak to that.
That's probably a treasurer question.
The last, I'm a little concerned too, that our system for tracking accounts receivable isn't up to par. That we are getting behind on if people aren't paying, that there's no consequences and there's no, like we used to file for liens against properties. If they didn't pay, we couldn't turn off their water, we couldn't turn off their sewer, obviously, but I think we have a backup in there. There's no system or reporting that comes out and says, okay, these people still owe, and, so I don't know, I know that's another treasurer thing, right, Ariel? It's not really so much us, or it's not so much the clerk, but we need to, that's another thing I would like either the accountant to work on with our treasurer, or our treasurer has to do it. Cause,
So when we get an accountant, you ought to have a list of things that you've been tracking, and that should be on there.
okay, I mean, I don't think it's something that, the accountant necessarily, it's something our treasurer should be following up on. I mean, if you have people that owe you money, how do we,
So,
I agree.
yeah, the policy we have now is it gets put as a lien on their taxes at the end of the year.
October, I think is the deadline.
I think he's also expressing a concern about how it's even being tracked. And he referenced to me somebody who might owe over $1,000 on their water bill. And is that documented? Is that being tracked? So let's put that on treasurer's report for the first September meeting
Sounds good.
and hold her
Yeah.
to account on that.
I mean, maybe when we have our new software, you'll be able to just hit a button and it will print a report on everybody that owes, how much they owe. But I don't totally want to depend on that. I
Yeah,
think
only if the data's been input.
right, there's only, I think, 55 accounts or something like that. It shouldn't be very hard, but how do we know if all the hydrant fees were paid or don't know, we're not catching on the back end. It's one thing to bill somebody, it's another thing to receive.
Right,
And, you know, I know that when we have a house or a property in Swatch, and they sent me a red letter, cause I wasn't paying, you know, I paid in advance and then I got behind. And they're like, shut off time is on this date and that's it, there's no question, they shut it off. So, and they give you a bill and it says exactly what each item is, how much I paid, you know, full accounting of my, you know, of what I paid and what I didn't pay.
but you don't know, I mean, I'm sure. You know, we're still working off the QuickBooks desktop, right? But the online one and probably the desktop one, generally has a feature for those types of reminders. So, yeah, I mean, it should be a manageable problem, I think.
Yeah, I mean, here it is, just so you
Right.
see that, you know, this is,
We wanted to give you attention on that one.
you want to get my attention, I think we, you know. I'm
Yeah.
not saying we have to do the exact same as them, I'm saying that it's something that's coming up.
QuickBooks. When I reconcile. It'll tell me if somebody hasn't paid, if I billed them.
Right.
So if we've been billing people, it should be, there should be a digital record of them not having paid.
Right. So does that come before the board eventually, I mean, that would, you know,
We could ask our treasurer right now. Without her even being here, we could request that the treasurer provide a report of unpaid.
accounts receivable.
Yeah.
We can do that. I make a motion that we direct our treasurer to provide a report of unpaid accounts receivable for the September meeting.
For a second, else, and Kim? Any more discussion about it?
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah. All in favor? What's that?
So I don't know if we'll be able to do that.
We oughta,
With only 50 accounts, there's.
I'm not trying to downplay the fact that she has a lot of work.
It's partly why I do feel like a CPA in there could fill a gap that is, you know, and then things that she needs to focus on, she can focus on, like up-to-date stuff.
Mhm.
But, going back and finding all this stuff would really help to have somebody in here that's professional.
Totally.
Cemetery, I'm still now out of communication with this, LiDAR survey gentleman. They were really good at communicating and then all of a sudden I got no communication, so I don't know what's happening with that exactly, whether they're following through on it. They told me that they had all the information they needed and that they were gonna put it together and get it to us, but I've reached out to them 3 times already and I still haven't gotten any communication yet, so I will keep following up on that because it's an important thing. We have another person who was asking today about having a cemetery plot, so that now we're down another one, I think. So we have 3 left. And
Are you talking about the same gentleman from Go's funeral? Yeah.
I
Or
think
is there someone else, cause then we're down to 2.
okay. Might be another one, so.
Thanks for sticking with that, Benji, and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's really discouraging when you don't get, it's kind of like our auditor, it's like all of a sudden the communication stops.
Yeah, totally.
What else? I think, yeah, so regular board meeting next month, I'm hoping that if we do need to have a special meeting in the middle of the month, next month, I will not be here for that. So either you're gonna lead that meeting, if you'd like, or we won't have, or we'll skip a month.
what's the date,
The
September?
date is September 20 something,
23rd.
23rd.
I could go either way. I mean, I think we're having way too many meetings, so.
I mean, we could determine it at the first meeting, which is on the, September 9th. determine whether we wanna have a meeting on the 23rd, but again, it's gonna be on you because I am going in for hernia surgery.
You know, I think it's good if we keep it scheduled for the 23rd. And our mayor pro tem can share it, and then if, as you approach that date, if you decide there's no business that needs to be addressed, it always could be canceled.
Sounds good.
But I think it's best to just keep
Keep
it
it on the schedule. Sounds good. Any other questions, comments, concerns for the mayor?
So, comments on what, are we wrapping up this meeting or?
No, we're not wrapping it up. We still have clerk's report and we still have one other item. That is, I have two other, three other items.
So could I say something under public service announcements? That's under clerk's reports?
That will come up, let's switch over then to clerk's report.
Okay,
I think she's trying to get clarity on public service announcements and whether, how we wanna work. Yeah, so, why don't you do your report there, Ariel?
If Trustee I wanted to say something.
yeah,
Okay, Rudy.
I just wanted to let people know, I'm gonna have to respond on Facebook, but. The other day I got word from Benjamin that the plum tree along Silver Street by the Elephant Cloud. Instead of being an ornamental plum, which means it just blooms but doesn't produce fruit, actually had a ton of fruit on it. And the bear had gotten into the tree and broke one large branch off of the tree. It had damaged smaller branches. I came down to check it out and made the decision that in order to save the tree from the bear and more damage, went ahead and picked all the plums, myself and another person and about 5 or 6 children. All helped pick all the plums off the tree in order to save the tree.
That's what that Facebook post.
That was me, and then the children in these like 3 families all went home with big boxes of plums. I took plums into Cloud Station and packed them, and gave away plums. People who walked by were given plums, and at the end, we took a box of plums and we put it by the tree for people to take plums if they want. So there was no conspiracy theory going on, it was me saving the tree from the bear. And there's plums here if anybody wants plums. So that's what happened. And it's something we're gonna have to consider in the future because it's kind of cool that it's actually a real plum tree and not just an ornamental, but the bear is gonna destroy it if we don't stay on top. So there's the mystery of the plum pickers.
You're the evil plum picker
Yeah.
from Facebook? Is it?
It was me.
Terrible
I distributed to like at least 6 children and at least 4 families and anybody who walked by, so that I'll go on Facebook and report it, but
And
I
speaking
just
of,
wanted to make official statement as the tree person in town that I'm going to pick the plums.
and I would have went on there because I saw that and I would have said that, but last time I went on there and actually commented, they took the whole thread down.
Oh, yeah.
And I had just commented about this,
So I'm
increase.
gonna jump on that thread.
Okay, good. And you might get taken, make sure you copy and paste it, Kizen.
Pardon?
Make sure you copy and paste it, because if they take the whole thread down, you lose all that you wrote.
They took the thread down?
No, if they do.
Oh, if they do, well, I might just make my own statement rather than tag it at the bottom, I'll just make
Yeah.
my own statement of why. We had to save the tree from the bear.
So to piggyback on that, I was gonna say the website's up and access to the social media page. If you have public service announcements that you wanna come from town, we can do that.
I'll just jump in there, I'll just say something.
Okay. Other people, I know the mayor and the mayor pro tem are public service liaisons, that might not be the right title, but you're supposed to handle like communications with the newspapers and whatnot. So I would just ask you guys too, if you have anything you want added to the website, it could be a news page, it could be its own page, but I can have space with public service announcements that are officially from the town.
I would like definitely on the Facebook page for you to announce that we've got our website updated and that now it's, you know, the new address so that we're, people can go there. I had an issue with that where people were saying that the town would, on purpose increased the deputy.
Yeah.
This whole thing with that.
Yeah.
And then I went in there and basically stated, you know, that we had a conversation the opposite and we were trying to minimize that and that we pay a lot for them to come here and all this stuff. And literally the next morning, the whole thread was just taken down and I didn't save my work. So I ended up saying all this, you know, going over it, revising it, trying to get it in line
Right.
and then it was just disappeared. So,
Yeah.
anyway, must have hit home.
And, a while ago, somebody sent me an example of just on the subject of PSAs. An example of a PSA from the city of Alamosa that was, I think, a really good example of kind of where I'd like to see us headed. I'll just read it, it's a couple short paragraphs. For immediate release, Wednesday, February 20th. Dark Sky Code Amendments, Planning Commission discussion, Wednesday, February 28th. Alamosa, the City of Alamosa Planning Commission will be discussing the impacts of suggested changes to land use regulations, blah, blah, blah. The process for designation requires robust community support from the region, including changes to land use regulations. Alamosa is discussing how the related potential code changes would affect new construction, blah, blah, blah. The planning commission will be held at the council chambers at this date and time. The city highly encourages anyone who has an opinion on this topic to attend this public meeting. The planning commission will be gathering community feedback, forwarding recommendation. So they're like preemptively inviting people to come attend stuff where we're discussing instead of reactively. And I really think that's a value that we should work towards.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
And it's real easy to put that out there in the newspaper, social media, website.
Yeah.
For the next public hearing we would have has to do with our supplemental budget, so we want to make sure that we.
Your next public hearing is on September
Oh.
9th, and it's for the export of water out of the San Luis.
Oh, yeah. We should definitely invite people to that.
Yeah, put it on the website, social media. I mean,
Do social media as well. for sure.
Be kind of in that
September
format
9th.
of like,
Which one?
we'll be
We
discussing
did,
this and we'll have to hear.
It's, we have
Include
it,
people.
we have to do the public hearing, then it gets passed.
And is that public hearing is happening during our regular meeting?
Yeah.
Is that right, Ariana?
It's scheduled for the regular meeting, yeah,
Okay, and then I'll,
at 1:30 PM when you return,
Because the lawyer.
lunch break.
okay, cool. Right on. Sweet, yeah, we should have a social media type post for that. I know people care about that subject.
All right, you want to continue on your report?
Yeah, for sure. The next one is finance committee. I was hoping that maybe I could be added to your finance committee agenda. I just have a few things that have come to my attention that I would like to bring to you so that you could bring to the board. One is the unemployment issue. We have a lot of people claiming unemployment from town, from Mel to Scott to Gretchen, and there's just some things with rates and whatnot that I would like to discuss further if possible. I'd also like for you guys to discuss like a petty cash process for the office, that we could all use, just something like outlined in detail, so there's no confusion. I'd also like to show you the RFP I made for, the financial, for the CPA. Just to get your approval before it gets sent out. And then I have a phone system proposal as well. I'd also like to kind of discuss, and maybe with you as a board or just with the finance committee, kind of clerk and office assistant moving away from doing treasury work. I think that it's caused a lot of confusion having so many fingers kind of in the pot, making adjustments, doing research. And it's also taken away from like my ability to do clerk things and from the office assistant to take care of the office. Just in these past few weeks, when I've been office assistant again, I've spent 70 to 80% of my time researching water sewer bills. And it's really been a detriment to me in other areas where I should focus.
Ariel, do you know when the new person will start?
Patty can start tomorrow. And I have all of her onboarding documentation ready. I just bring this up because I wanna be able to give her a job description for the office aide. And it doesn't anywhere in it include anything about like researching water sewer payments and making adjustments and. I think that I think you should still like intake. And, take messages for the treasurer or the CPA about, who's called in about those things. I just don't think that we should actually be trying to resolve them, especially when we don't have the same. Intimate knowledge of our financials and the procedures.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
I would just like to be able to focus on like
So you want to attend,
filing and, learning the code and.
you want to attend the next finance meeting?
Yeah, if I could just like, and if we make it really brief, I'll have everything written up, just,
Maybe you
let me know
guys-
what it is.
Could do like I don't know if petty cash requires some kind of one-page form that, how much money gets taken out of the account for petty cash. And then how, it has to obviously balance every day.
Yeah.
So
I have some books that can help, I'd be happy to pass those along, I don't want to make the process. And I don't wanna make anything harder on the treasurer by like making something that wouldn't be to her liking or.
But we can talk about it some more, but correct me if I'm wrong, petty cash is really only used to give change. It's not really meant to take cash for a water bill payment and put it in petty cash, that's.
For sure, and it's not really how it's been used, it's
And
only
not-
been used for making change.
And you use it like for supplies or anything.
No, I use the card, which has been an issue, maybe you would prefer that I use petty cash for those instead of having like $10 receipts from the merc. I don't know, I don't wanna.
So usually with petty cash, it's like a drawer, like a till.
And that's how,
That's probably something we could solve with the finance committee, right?
I think so, yeah.
Just don't let me use petty cash.
I'm just suggesting that you at the finance, or before the finance committee, you guys maybe research a system so that you come in with something.
Okay.
that would be great, cause then we could get the office aide trained on that, like immediately. And my next point was, committee meetings, I still need minutes and or notes from committee meetings.
I have notes, I haven't submitted them, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry, I just wanna make sure we're doing it. Special events committee, all of them, because I have been doing them for public works committee. And then I also would request that the mayor meet with me so that we could get a formal understanding of all the committees that we have currently. I've been working on updating the code, talked with new code, we can update it in December. It will be $19 per page, for all the additions. The last edition they received was in 2022. It was one of the first ordinances made, so there would be quite a number of things to update in there, so, with your permission to proceed, I could get a proposal from Unicode on what that would look like based on all of your ordinances from 2022, 2023, and 2024.
Would you like to do that this year?
Well, do you have an idea of what we're looking at as far as ordinance, like is it 10, 110?
I wanna say it's closer, it's between 30 to 50. I'm not gonna.
Is each ordinance a page or is?
Some of them are two, some of them are one page. It's really about their formatting though too, like I can't make the quote from them, I can just send them the ordinances and get a quote back from them,
I think we should get the quotes.
specific number.
And we need,
I mean, I
we need to
know-
make sure we have all the ordinances as well. I can see another one that would come off here pretty quickly. As far as PUD is.
It would still have until December, so everything that, could come in between now and December could also be added.
To 25.
Yeah,
I think it should be dead over here.
I mean, I think we could direct the clerk to get the quote. And we can just see where we're sitting right now.
Put it in the budget for 25.
Yeah,
Well, it's gonna be done in December, so it wouldn't be 25, it'd be a supplemental. If we have it, otherwise we have to go to another date next year, it might be, what would be the next one?
They do it in July and December of every year.
Okay.
So next one will be July.
It'll be July.
We could get the quote, put it in the or in the budget for next year and then do it in July, but. That'll get you caught up too, so you can, cause we're still running off those ordinances, just because they're not in the code book does not mean that they're not
Then they're
in
not.
effect.
Yeah.
They're in effect,
It is difficult to find them though sometimes if we don't know.
but if she's getting them together as though we could even have a packet of them as well, so that we have an understanding of what would go in the code book.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just kind of a transition period.
So I should go ahead and start collecting them and get a quote and just, well, you can make a final decision from there. Okay. I'm also requesting that, I be able to contract services. I believe that we need help with IT and with, HR. Just in case office conflicts do arise, a way to mediate those without it necessarily being like in a public meeting. And then for the IT services, I asked for that because I'm currently doing IT here and I'm crawling under desks and setting up computers for the treasurer, or code compliance, or the water department. I don't know that you need a full-time person to do either of those jobs, but it could be nice to have someone who's on call as a contractor. So I'm just asking for permission to like create a request for proposal to receive those and then put them before you guys for like a final decision on that. Or if you don't think it's necessary at all, then totally drop it.
I mean, yeah, you're in the office the most, I trust that you know what you need.
So one's for an IT person and one's for conflict resolution.
Particularly with human resources to help with like mediation, conflict resolution, maybe creating like an HR handbook, because we have the personnel handbook, but it doesn't necessarily tell us like how we operate with each other.
No, I thought it did. I thought it was pretty specific in regards to behavior and.
There's definitely behavior in the workplace, but it doesn't address issues between like departments if there's disagreements.
How does an
resolve-
IT person get
IT,
involved?
human
I'd say
resources.
it's like
Human resources.
separate, those are two separate contracts I'm asking for. I'm asking for IT as one and then HR as the other
I'd
one.
like to know what I'm computer
No,
ignorant.
human resources would be for the conflict resolution.
I-
IT is separate.
For the IT, it would be like the setting up of computers when we have issues with our computers, like I had to research.
It'd just be as need. Okay.
On an
So,
as-needed
yeah, and maybe
basis.
that might be two different things, but I would make a motion that we approve our clerk to create an RFP for IT support
Second,
for our review.
Is that what you're asking for?
So we would review it before she would release it.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. I would also make a motion for the clerk to create an RFP for a human resources position. To bring it before the board review.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Now we can discuss.
Would you call it position or?
I wouldn't call it a position.
Okay, sure. What would you call it?
Contract?
Resource.
And human resources is much bigger than conflict resolution.
That's fair, I would be happy to like small it down those.
Again, yeah, so we're really looking for somebody who can mediate conflict between departments
Between even staff members.
and between staff members.
Or
So,
even if there's conflict between board and staff members or really.
I mean, we could pay that person a lot of money
we could, yeah, I mean,
if every time.
What conflict?
If every time Ken is mad at Dennis or anything like that, we're like, oh, we have to bring that person in. That's a
Yeah.
lot,
yeah,
but we've talked about for the 20 years that I've been here. Having conflict resolution support and trying to do that through policy more than hiring somebody.
so maybe.
That just doesn't sound like the policy is, thorough enough.
It's absolutely not, and we've
Maybe
never done a
instead of
work to address it.
policy for hiring somebody, we should be looking more into. Maybe even like some kind of, workshop that we all could attend, or something like this, that
Which we,
would give everybody the skills and a basis with which to resolve conflict. And
yeah, we've done that before too, but like our mayor at the time didn't show up. Because
we
she
have a
didn't-
bunch of new
she didn't
staff.
think it was
Is
important.
there sign-in?
So I would just direct, to put together the RFP and come up with the language that seems adequate for this position we're looking for. And, you know, as part of the job description, there could be those key points of what they would be expected to do. So, and then we can review what she puts together. Or what they're
I
doing.
mean, you could base it on the needs of, you know, you're kind of asking for it, so you have certain needs that you're asking for, so that we could. Base our.
Basically, we're looking somebody who could be
Yeah.
available to do,
So,
you know, the laundry list. Somebody who's with conflict resolution skills and background to be available to the town to, you know, assist with conflict resolution or, you know, what's the laundry list we're looking for? But we're looking for somebody we can call on to be available, you know, as needed.
I just think, I feel like the issue there is that. We might have to, you know, that it sounds like the type of position that we would have to kind of like put someone on retainer for. You know, like I feel like it might be hard to find somebody who's willing to just kind of like show up on demand. Without,
That's not really how you do that job either.
right, it's not how you do that job, so it's, yeah, maybe we. Need, kind of like you're saying, maybe instead of starting with, we just need the laundry list, like.
I would ask, I mean, we have a training coming up with Randy, right? And this is
Visioning.
something that is starting with the training. An hour of training, and this is like a really important
Yeah,
piece.
I think it's more board training.
A lot of times it's not like, they're not like an employee of the town, it's just we have already gone through the process of. A selection process to where it's just like having somebody who could be an on-call mediator. You've already gone through the advertising process, you've gone through the decision making, and then this person could be available to say. Hey, you know, would you be available week such and such and or provide mediation or conflict resolution? This is a process to where every time an issue comes up, we don't have to put out an RFP and try and get somebody. We have somebody that we have already designated. And they don't have to be on a retainer or even be an employee of the town. There's somebody that we have already come to terms what they would charge per hour and what their background and skills are. And then if something comes along, we could contact this person because we've already made an agreement. You know, what they would provide at what rate.
Also, if we, put it out there to write a human resource handbook or something like that, that we could start with that and then it could maybe have consulting or something in there so that, you know, is part of the, you know what I mean? Cause if you have a human resource handbook, then we're building the policy right out from the beginning and how you deal with things. So then that person might be able to back up the handbook as being like, in this case, you do need somebody and I would be able, you know, be able to help with that, something like that.
so then, do I need to, I mean, I feel like it. Do I need to revise my motion?
I'd like to say something, I think we're getting. I don't know, probably weak here, maybe that is not the right word. We have agencies that watch over this, we have an ethics manual, we have our attorney. Who I think from time to time is giving advice that I'm stepping over the boundaries. I really wouldn't want to turn over, we'd have to turn over our personnel records. to whoever this person might be. Because as you started saying, I don't wanna finish your sentence, you just don't, they're not gonna come in here shooting in the dark. They're gonna wanna know something about the situation, what people involved, and I don't think we need to go there right now. If we were maybe several hundred employees, or maybe even 50 employees, HR would be okay, but I'm not for it.
Well, I do think that having a human resource, even if it's very basic, something that the employees can use to do, to interact, I don't know, I don't even know what that entails, to tell you the truth, I have no idea. But it sounds like they're asking for it because there's conflict that the board can't. Reconcile, resolve, and the lawyer can't resolve, and they can't resolve between themselves, so they're asking for help with that.
Yeah, but when I mentioned those items, that along with the handbook, it has a door open to have those types of discussions if there's problems in the workplace. I don't see why we need to, if you're
So,
talking about bringing in a priest or something, I don't know.
so can we, I think
They were the original.
if we can allow my clerk to put together the looking for a person and looking for some of the qualities that we're looking at and what sort of work they might be called on to do. That's a first step, and then we as the board can see how that's going to integrate. But if we have a situation where the employee says, I wanna have mediation on this issue, we've got somebody that's available. And we could have used somebody in that position numerous times that I have seen in the past, that there's an independent person who could sit down and help see things through before it escalates. And it doesn't have to be something that's required, but I think that having that as a tool in their toolbox is a really good idea. So if we can just move along and allow her to put out an RFP, we can make the decision of people who apply.
Okay,
And see the value in it.
let's get a vote.
Well, can you change it to conflict?
Yeah, I amend
Resolution,
my
mediator.
motion to direct the clerk to create an RFP for a
Conflict resolution mediator
mediator
to be approved by the
to
board
be approved by the board.
before release.
Okay,
Is
is,
that all right?
we need a second?
Yeah, I think so, I mean, I think we have those people, I think those people exist. There are very skilled people who exist in our community that might be interested in that kind of thing.
One last question. As the staff, all of the staff heard about this and agree with it, or?
No, not all the staff have heard about it.
It's a good question.
I think that. From everyone, I'm just saying, I've noticed conflicts between multiple, departments that have not really been resolved. Or appropriately, it would just be nice, as Kizzy said, to have like that in our toolbox.
Could we at least get the opinion of the rest of the employees?
Sure. Absolutely.
Do we make this a vote?
Can you read the motion, please?
Motion to create an RFP for conflict resolution mediator for board of trustee review before release.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nay?
Nay.
Next,
This is my final update, we're not able to put a door in this area next to the bathroom in the hallway because there's a stairwell going down to the basement there, so. No longer pursuing that project. We did ask Jacob, who came to look at that project, if he could build a wall in the office to help the treasurer have a more, quiet space. He is going to provide a proposal, and ideally I'll have it to put before you at the September meeting. He's gonna look at building a wall next to the office assistant space and soundproofing that entire wall and door area entrance there. Yeah, that's all. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer.
We have a couple of requests for, proposals or interest from engineering for the sewer project. Did engineering think from them? Anybody?
No, I put them in the paper, but I haven't released them yet. I would appreciate if someone could look it over before I do post it, just to make sure that it's exactly what you want. The DOLA one was already written by Randy, so that one is ready to go. It won't be published until September 1st, so that's when I was gonna put them in the boxes as well, so your 30 days just goes.
And the one that Randy wrote is for the engineering?
The one that Randy wrote is for. She was requiring engineering services for. The structural grant. And then there was also an RFP for wastewater engineer, so I currently have 3 RFPs out.
Okay, and so the RFP for the wastewater is the sewer.
Yeah.
And what is the other one?
The other one is for an engineering. Company to revisit the structural grant. From the.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Keep requiring us to have.
thank you for reminding.
Ariel, I did have something I wanted to tell you. I got in touch with Brett Buchanan and he said that him and Kyle are not not looking to rent the upstairs any longer. Well, he said probably no, so I mean, that's.
So we probably need to start.
So then I would ask you guys, would you like me to proceed with reposting the apartment upstairs?
Yeah.
Who was the other applicant that we denied?
It was Kyle Campbell.
Who's?
I could reach back out to him, but I think you probably found housing by now.
I think we should continue to advertise until we fill it. That's my.
You have the same, you have the old advertising.
Yeah, I'll use the same one.
I mean, he said that they stopped in at the end of July. And that nothing was done with the carpet, but
They told me that they didn't want me to do anything with the carpet, because they were gonna give a request for proposal to the board to rip up the carpet.
right, that's what I remember.
And I told them such, and I asked them if they still wanted an application, and Kyle Leiden told me that he was gonna create a proposal for the upstairs carpet area and bring that to me. And then pending that being approved, then they would fill out an application to read it. And I didn't receive anything. I haven't received any communication from them aside from seeking that out.
Okay, but yeah, I think we should probably repost it.
Yes.
Do we need to make a motion for that?
It's a big be approved $400 to space. Did that include the removal?
I don't even think you can get somebody to walk in the door for 400.
I know that, but I think that was what was approved. And I think you made the motion.
I wouldn't have made that motion.
Okay.
So let's find out what.
And I got it down below.
That, I can review and find what the motion was.
Yeah, I think that was for good.
Did we get a new refrigerator up there yet?
Yeah.
Is
And I
that,
didn't replace the window because, in the last meeting, you talked about how with the shifting structure, all the windows might break. So I feel like I shouldn't like buy windows or something.
Well, maybe with this new, updated, it's not updated, but this new advertisement, we get a handle on where we're at with that upstairs, so that when we do get somebody presenting to us, that we know what we're supposed to do. Because we did say we were gonna get a new fridge, and we did say that we were gonna do something with the carpet.
Yeah, for sure. I can get the new fridge. I can try to get, I guess I'll do a request for proposal for carpet removal over there.
Or whatever,
Because
yeah,
the original plan was for me to clean it, but I
oh,
don't feel like I should clean it if we're gonna
that was the plan, was to
remove
do
it.
it, okay.
Yeah.
I thought we had,
But then you talked about removing it, now is the next plan, so.
well, if there was motions made, we should follow motions and just get that worked out, so that. caught up, and then it's easier for that person to move in. Employee phone system, cell phone use.
I'm just gonna table that for now, and I'm gonna talk to the finance committee about that before I proceed with my ask.
What's happening with the punch-in clock thing that we got?
I signed up for it, I sent it out to everyone to download, there's been some disagreement on when it should start being utilized and if it's effective, there's been like some employee pushback on it in general, so ideally, I would like it to start with the next pay period and just have people use these next 2 weeks to kind of try and practice utilizing the clock in and clock out function, but I'm happy to present. However,
Can they use it on their tablet or their PC? It doesn't have to be just phone, right?
it can be phone, computer, it can be anywhere you can, that you have internet access on.
What's the pushback?
Not seeing the use for it when we already do timesheets. Just feeling like it's a redundancy that causes more work for everyone.
Clock in and out.
But I feel like there's a way in which it could be used instead of the timesheets in the future. Like you can clock in and out, you can type in all of the projects, pretty much our timesheet like you've seen now, but it could just be digital instead of us clocking in and doing a timesheet. We could all just do.
Would it be helpful for the board to set a date in which it's implemented right now?
Maybe.
And when would that be? September 1st?
Our pay period starts today. Maybe implemented by the 9th.
And the downside of custom, that might be that an employee or 3 is irritated.
I guess so. I don't know what the problem is. The difference between clocking in and out and doing the activities report are 2 different things.
I've always had to do both. I've always had to clock in and out on the system and write an activities report, as you called it. So
Well, I would make a motion that the board directs the staff to begin using that system on September 9th.
I second.
Dennis, got that one. Is there any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Next question for you is, when did we want to put the resignation of Mr. Mendez?
I was advised by the attorney to put that on your regular meeting date to, accept or reject his resignation. And then to decide if we want to appoint or hold a special election. 60 days from the September 9th meeting.
Thanks, Ariel.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We don't have an attorney's report today. We are on to, we did the living wisdom. Now we are on to the Crestone Baca Alliance Youth Program Initiative by Kathy Forward.
So I'm gonna. I assume that everyone was able to read the proposal that I had in the board packet. Didn't know if you wanted me to kind of summarize, if you just wanted to ask me questions, if you want me to ask you questions, how you want me to do this. So this is where you get to tell me what to do.
Okay.
Can you please summarize?
Certainly. So, this came out of the, be able to see you. So, this came out of the town hall meetings that then became the Crestone Baca Community Alliance. And basically, several of our residents said, you know, we need something a little structured, but not too structured for our youth, to keep them away from drugs and alcohol. So, given my background in youth programming, and I can go into that in depth if you want, I'm kind of starting to gather the information and develop the foundation. I really want this to be something that isn't a flash in the pan, that has staying power long before or long after I'm gone. So basically, this program would be designed for about 4 different things, all experiential, not lecture types of stuff. So my teacher has to take a backseat. But mentoring the youth, both having them available to help our elders in the community. An elder calls up, I need help getting the weeds in my yard taken care of so the code enforcer doesn't talk to me. And then we go out as a group and do that community service project. But then that mentors the younger person, or that cements the younger person in the community. They have a stake in the community. And then it has the opportunity to develop relationships between the older and the younger. Then there's also fun bonding. Let's all go bowling. Let's go to Alamosa for a movie. Now that's gonna require funds and we'll have to work on grants and that kind of thing. That is not where I'm starting right now. Where I'm starting right now is developing the personnel, the volunteers. I talked with the Saguache County Sheriff today about what pieces we needed to have in place so that our youth can be protected and we can be protected, type of thing. And then peer mentorship. I would like to see eventually this be a program that is open for 10-year-olds through 18-year-olds. But that's a wide gap, guys. And all of my work with the tweeners, that's a whole nother universe. Their hormones and emotions are all over the place. So I want to start and get this cemented with the 14 to 18-year-olds. Now, why am I here? I know you guys don't have money, so take a deep breath. I basically see you guys as the leaders and elders of our community, and I feel like it's respectful to A, let you know what's going on, and then B, if there's a room that you know of the in the community, either that's town related or not, if we can leverage those resources.
Sure.
Questions?
Do you know Lisa Bodie?
Yes.
Okay, she's coming back into town
Right.
and moving back, and I know she used to run a program.
Right, and that was one of the reasons, also one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of reach out to you guys to, because I don't want to have to recreate the wheel. If something's already been done, let's find out what it was and what the pitfalls and the advantages were, and let's morph it into helping us.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So I did not know that she was moving back.
She is, yeah. She
Okay,
is preparing to move back. She might even be on the road right now.
okay,
So we'll have Bodie back in our midst. And, you know, she probably has a lot of things to say about
oh, and
this type of.
yeah. And I would love to have people help me understand what the history is, because I've only been here 3 years, guys, not even.
Yeah.
And so I know I'm not trying to force my ideas on you guys. What I'm trying to do is, okay, the community says we have a problem.
Now, what skills and assets do I have that can help in this area? And do my little bit. Any other questions?
Is this something similar to like a community service program for,
That's gonna be one part of it, Dennis, but, it's not set up only for that, because the one thing that I know, working with kids at Boys Town and Girl Scouts and through my church, they really have to feel like it is something that they can benefit from and not just give all the time. Now, I have the belief that being involved in community service, and you'll see me volunteering in lots of different areas, is a way that I give and get at the same time. But these kids need a safe place for them to be able to bond, for them to just hang. And for them to get involved in the community and do stuff for themselves. So that's vision right now. Of course, we all know what happens when vision becomes reality, sometimes morphs, and I'm open to that. But this is kind of the vision that I have for the program. And I've already secured Sam Prime, who works out at the school, he's working today actually, to be the male leader, so that we have both male and female energies available for our kids.
and where? How do you get together? How do you bring everyone together?
I have already talked with Carissa, and there's gonna be some advertising once we get the foundation put together. Some like flyers and that kind of thing with the schools, in the paper, etc. That's the vision, Dennis. Yeah, but I need other building blocks in place, like I need to know where we can meet.
That was gonna be my next. question.
Can we use the park? Do we have to have a fee? Do we have to have a permit? Can we use the stage? That kind of stuff. These are things I don't know. This is
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I'm coming to you guys.
So definitely with the stage, we don't have insurance on the stage, right? Nick pays for it when there's events until it's complete, and then we're going to insure it, is that?
I think Sursa covers it for the in-between times, but for events, you need special insurance.
So
So
if they wanted, I mean, if
a
it's not an
monthly meeting
event.
or bi-monthly meeting, would we need to do a permit? Have a rent agreement, have insurance? What needs to be done?
I think I mean, is that, do we need to talk to Seth? Or does somebody feel like they have like legitimate insight into? I mean, if you got, I mean, I feel like if y'all are just meeting up in the park doing your own thing, it doesn't really have anything to do with us.
Not really, it's like having a picnic.
An organized event on a public piece of property may require some type of liability insurance. But I don't know the answer to that.
Okay,
I'm just throwing it out.
that's one thing. So who would? Seth, the attorney, is that who I would send an email to?
I think,
Well,
go ahead.
I think that should come from us.
From you? Okay, yes?
So, first of all, thank you for looking at our youth and our community and wanting to get involved and have things for our youth. I think it's something that we greatly need, so thanks for putting your energy towards this. I think as it comes to using the park, parks are open to people. I think if somebody's gonna come, if we just have like a group of students or whatever come to the park, I don't see that as a formal event. We have people do Tai Chi in the park or yoga in the park, or if we had Boy Scouts come and do things in the park. It's not like a formal event, and if you have any organization, the organization itself would be responsible for any sort of insurance that you might have, if you're gonna do a field trip or you're gonna go whatever. So you have your own umbrella that you're working with, and so I would feel that, you know, if you wanna meet up on the park on a, you know, Friday afternoon or whatever else, I don't see where that needs to be really formalized. Unless you're really looking at having events, and then we kind of do things like the Saturday market where they're kind of reserving that space for their event. So my own feeling is about getting together in a park and, I don't know, playing games or music or whatever. I don't think that we would need to have licensing or anything like that unless it became a bigger deal where you wanna make sure you have this space sort of reserved, and that's something we can talk about. I think the town would probably be very willing to be very helpful to anybody who's trying to do organized youth activities. As far as a physical space goes, when Lisa had a youth program, at that time we had the old schoolhouse, community building, which was available, which is no longer available, it's a museum. So I can't think of any space that could be available for a youth program in town at this time, other than possibly the charter school. But let me not discourage you from continuing to look.
Well, thank you.
To see if something could come about for you. I know that you said in your letter that you wanted to come to the town first and kind of update us on what you're doing, and then you're also looking at going to the POA to see what they might. So I like hearing that again, because really probably 90% of the youth probably do come out of the POA, and they might have more resources than what we have. But I feel like, you know, personally, I'm like all supportive of things that you can do for our youth. I think there's a real need for it. I can't think of anything specifically that we can offer you at this time, other than encouragement.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate that.
And I agree that I don't see any reason why there should be a problem with y'all using the parks and, you know, in like this informal kind of way, but, you know, we can get in touch with the lawyer just to make sure that there's no issues, just for like.
I
peace
would
of mind.
appreciate that,
Yeah,
just so that I know, okay, that I don't have to worry about anymore.
right.
I love this community since I moved in, but one of the things that, in some of the interactions I've had with the youth that have moved out recently, they didn't feel a sense of place, they didn't feel a connection. Opportunities also is an issue, but I can address potentially sense of place. So a sense of connection. So that's what I'm trying, the gap that I see is available that I'm trying to help grow. Any other questions? Yes?
It's not so much a question, maybe a recommendation
Uh-huh.
or suggestion, but if you started to have any sort of schedule or regularity,
That's the plan.
even just submitting information to the town to be like,
Okay.
hey, every Thursday, we're gonna be meeting.
Yep.
Or the third Thursday of every month, we'd like to do a small performance on the stage, just any sort of sharing of information. And then based on past traumatic experiences, I know that Sam working at the school's been through CBI background check, but any sort of way that you can back up your legitimacy. through
And
background
that's one of the
checks.
reasons why I stopped and talked to Saguache County Sheriff Office today. Is because coming from Denver, there were requirements for background checks and fingerprinting and that kind of thing. And so I wanted to know what the pieces were so that I can protect adults and children and whatever community we work through.
Right, even like as a mentor at the charter school, I have to, and the guy who works in my shop has to provide all of that.
right,
or go through those background checks.
right.
And it is just, it is a protection for you guys,
Mhm.
so I would encourage you to
Yeah,
back yourself up.
that, thank you very much, and I've already been down that path. Anybody else?
Yeah, just again, this is an awesome initiative that you guys are doing,
Thank you.
very much needed, and, I guess, Ariel, could we direct you to send Seth just a quick email? Kind of maybe sending him this letter and just checking in to give them some peace of mind around using town property,
Thank you.
and, yeah.
Are you done?
I think. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Trevor.
Next on the agenda is the Board of Adjustment resignation by any pace.
I didn't include the explanation, but she did formally resign from the Board of Adjustment, so you have an open seat there, and we do have an alternate. That you could.
Can we move the alternates? I would
I think you just need
make a motion.
Who's the alternate?
The alternate is Aaron Martin.
Huh?
I thought it was me for a second.
Aaron Martin.
I make a motion, we ask Aaron Martin.
Accept the resignation from.
Okay, I make a motion, we accept Annie Pace's resignation from the Board of Adjustments.
Second.
All in favor?
And I make a motion, I don't wanna appoint him without asking,
He's already been appointed. He's just
As an
an
alternate.
alternate.
but does he wanna be?
I'm sure he would. I mean, that was his original.
Yeah. I make a motion, we appoint Aaron Martin to fill the vacancy in the Board of Adjustments.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
So Sarah's husband.
Oh.
Next we have is that all you need for that? Do you need to find another alternate eventually, like?
You probably would wanna have an alternate just in case.
Next, we have mitigation services from request for proposal. So with that, we haven't yet found any crews that that made a proposal for the town yet. So we're waiting. Since we have now our manager and our administrator, we're gonna start almost like asking for proposals from crews that can do it. And then we'll bring them to the board to hire them. It's this grant, because it's a federal FEMA grant, is extremely confusing for everybody involved, including the woman who is the intermediary between the FEMA and our administrator. She tends to give us a lot of mixed information, so we're just plugging through, and when it comes up, we will come to the board and ask for that to happen. So right now, we're just in limbo.
Cool.
Seems like a lot of things are in limbo. Next, we have public works. Hi, Andrew, do you wanna do a report?
Really nothing to report. It's doing a normal brush pickup. Road work. In regard to the road, they're coming along good. The road base that we're getting from, that we got from Scotland. It's working, we, go ahead and fill the holes, pump it up, and then with all the moisture every night, tamps down, gets real hard after the rain. And, we're trying to start continuing just driving roads and then figuring out what we want. We've got about one truckload left behind the storage units of, road base. We need to get about 5 loads brought in.
Drew, what are those two piles, one on Cedar and one on Lime at the curb? They've already got weeds growing on.
Okay, part of it's our pile. The construction crew up there has been putting theirs also right next door.
Is that road based?
So our pile's grown, our pile's gotten bigger.
Yeah, it got a little bit bigger, but, for the amount of, repairs that road's gonna need after all this construction, we're gonna need a lot.
Are they giving any, have you talked to them, are they giving any indication that they might do some of the repairs themselves? Or?
No, they haven't.
That might be an idea.
I think they should,
I think you're right.
I think they should,
I think we should go over it.
I think they've been driving the roads a lot and they should have passed the roads. Do, we should talk to it about that? Or we should talk to CPCH about that, I'm not sure which.
It's both CPCH and, county. You know, people doing that trail.
Yeah,
I think they're actually a little bit harder on the, on that building, CPC agents.
the trail people. Okay,
Yeah, cause they're offloading right there and, you know, when you're bringing a big old dozer or. Yeah, any kind of track off of a trailer, it digs down real quick and. But they seem to use their loaders to smooth everything out, but it's still not, you know, good. Quality work as we had put into it. They just kind of repair what they can and that's it.
Yes, Brent?
I was gonna add something to that. I was gonna speak with the RMS utilities concerning just adding some to that road, improving it, cause it's even on down, cause their trucks are definitely, they're coming down and they're using it. So I was gonna talk to both of those contractors and see if they can get some improvements on Lime Street. So, yeah, that's on the list.
well, and,
I'm sure they'll agree to it. I don't think we'll have any problem with it.
yeah. Cool, will you just give us an update?
Yeah.
So you.
Anything else? And you still good with the hours and everything? It's okay as far as your timing and stuff? I know you wanted more, but,
Oh, no, this is fine.
it is,
I'm trying to keep it right at 30. Maybe 32 this month, maybe 29 next month, so.
and is Eddie,
Eddie's awesome, and I'd like to see him get a bump up in pay.
Yeah.
It's really good.
when did we hire him? Do you remember?
It was right before the music festival, wasn't it?
Right before, 4th of July.
Right before 4th of July.
I saw Eddie the other day, I said, how's it going? He said, man, I love this job. And he's making $16 an hour. And I haven't met a person in town who would respond like that at that wage and be grateful and happy to be doing the work, so.
I've heard a few people, mostly on our blog, say how happy they are with this, and yours as well. Because you're easier sidekick. The way things would go is the project would come. In the works.
So at the end of September would be like 3 months. So that would be probably
First part, something.
1st of October would be like his
Okay,
90-day.
all right, well, the one thing that's nice about him, he already knows how to operate a tractor. And, most of the equipment, he's like, well, I know how to run this, yes, I can. He, in his other job, he just can't afford it. So, you know, we've got stuff that he's like, wow. But he understands it and he knows how to take care of it.
That's
Awesome.
great. I think we picked a good.
You know, I'm impressed.
Right. All right, is water department gonna give any report or is he?
He didn't give me a
Okay.
report for this. Do you want me to ask if he wants?
We can wait till next regular meeting. Calling these the intermediary meetings, sort of like the catch up meetings. Planning commission, nothing, correspondence. we have any other correspondence that we're not seeing? I think we could make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Oh, actually, I have a question.
Uh.
If 6 of us wanna go up there right now and look at the project, do we need to like stay in session or how do we wanna play that?
I would just not interact, just do it on your own.
We just don't talk.
Don't talk.
Just
That's
don't
a-
talk.
Well, I would love to look at it with people and talk about it.
Yeah,
Can you not adjourn and just keep it?
That's what I'm wondering, if we can just stay in
So then
session.
when we adjourn, we just, so,
Well, we can't make any, you can't make any decisions while we're on site, because we won't have public feedback
right,
and happening there. So,
but can we go and not make decisions?
we can discuss.
Warren says we
Or
can't
move
do
it to
anything unless if
Session.
there's 2 or less of us.
We'd have to post the work session.
Well, great, so
let's adjourn, and then 2 of you guys go up there and you can,
I wanna go with somebody who,
Well, Dan, David could probably show you what firsthand what
I can
everything's
go.
going
we
on.
can take measure.
I can go.
David is in school.
okay, I'll go with Dana and then maybe later I'll go with you and tell you what Dana said.
Yeah, I mean, you might be. I don't know, you might have more knowledge about. You know, whatever, because you worked with public works so long and whatever, but. I can definitely go.
I'm gonna have as much knowledge as anyone in this room about the stakes and the boundaries, so I know where I wanna look and I wanna look at that with somebody.
Let's go look
And
at
with
it,
you would be great.
So my feeling is that we can adjourn this meeting.
Yeah, I make motion to adjourn.
and I second this motion.
We can go up and take a look. I probably want to go up there.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. See you at the next meeting. Thanks. Yes, go. I take your compliments.
You walk or drive?
I drove,
Thank you.
did you walk or drive? I gotta go